What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate podcast. We got another starts of the week for week 4. I am going to give you guys one player at each position, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end, that I think will outperform their ranking, have a great week, and help you win. And these guys are not must-start players. The criteria I use for quarterback, I pick a player ranked outside the top 12 on Fantasy Pros. Running back, same thing, outside the top 12. Wide receiver, outside the top 20. And tight end, outside the top 12 on Fantasy Pros. A quick recap of last week. So, last week was rough. We only went 1 for 4. The quarterback I gave you was Derek Carr. He had a bad game. The running back I gave you was Tony Pollard. Also a bad game. Rashid Shaheed was the wide receiver. Terrible game. The only one we hit was Jake Ferguson at tight end, who had a great game. So 1 for 4, not great. Let's try to bounce back and go 4 for 4 this week. Let's hop into it. Let's start off with quarterback. Like I said, this player is ranked outside the top 12 on Fantasy Pros. We got Geno Smith this week. He's had over 19 points in 2 of 3 games, and this Seahawks offense has great playmakers that can make huge plays for Geno. We've seen it. 2 weeks already, DK Metcalf has a long touchdown. Now Geno plays the Lions, who have allowed over 18 points per game to quarterbacks this season, and I expect this Seahawks-Lions game to be high scoring. I expect a lot of passing, which is good for Geno. So week 4, start of the week for quarterback, Geno Smith. For running back, this player is also ranked outside the top 12 on Fantasy Pros. We are going to run it back with Tony Pollard this week. He was the start of the week last week and had a terrible game, but the Titans were getting blown out by the Packers super early in the game, which affected Pollard's volume. I don't expect that to happen this week. The Titans play the Dolphins, who don't have a starting level quarterback at the moment, so I expect this game to either be close or the Titans to be winning, so I think Pollard gets the volume and performs great this week. The Dolphins have allowed over 22 points per game to running backs this season, so week 4, start of the week, for running back, Tony Pollard. For wide receiver, this player is ranked outside the top 12 on Fantasy Pros. We got Jackson Smith-Njigba this week. So he's been really hit and miss, really boom or bust this season. He has 1 game over 20 points and 2 games under 10 points. But this week, I expect a good week for JSN. Like I mentioned with Geno Smith and why I like Geno for my start of the week for quarterback, I expect a lot of scoring in this Lions-Seahawks game, which is good for JSN. And also, JSN has shown really good yard after the catch ability, so all we need is like 5 or 6 catches to have a good game for him. So week 4, start of the week, for wide receiver, JSN. Lastly, we got tight end. So this player is ranked outside the top 12 on Fantasy Pros. We got Zach Ertz this week. He's been really consistent so far. He's had 8 or more points in 2 of 3 games, which is great for a tight end. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' offense looked great last week, so I'm going to ride this momentum and get a piece of this offense. I think he gives you a solid floor of around 8 points, but in this Jaden Daniels offense, I think there's upside for a touchdown any given week. So week 4, start of the week for tight end, Zach Ertz. Those are the starts of the week for week 4. Let's try to go 4 for 4 this week. Last week was a stinker. That's my fault. I gave you guys bad advice. But let's bounce back this week. Like always, if you have any fantasy questions, comment on the podcast, comment on YouTube, or DM me on social media. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.